I have the volume on 0. The Green Bay Packers just scored a touchdown. It's 12:40 p.m. on $2 Bill's birthday. So, yeah, people will be able to see that I'm telling the truth. Jordan Love just threw a tracer of a touchdown pass into the back of the end zone, and the Packers have taken the lead today on Packer Sunday. God, I love football. I love football so much. There are so many millions of people in Wisconsin watching the Packers right now. I'm not one of them. Normally, I would be listening to WIXX and listening to the Packer game as I go about my business in the Mrgrrr car today, but rules are rules. You are not allowed to film the broadcast of an NFL game. I know this from experience. So even though I might be the biggest Packer fan in the world, which I'm not, I'm a Patriot fan, Tom Brady fan. Rules are rules. So if I turn on the radio and start listening to the voice of the Green Bay Packers tell about how awesome that touchdown was, well, Mrgrrr would be breaking the rules. And I'm in enough trouble already. I don't need to have the NFL coming after me saying, hey, what are you doing taping a broadcast of the NFL? Well, making a point. Mrgrrr, once he knows the rules, he follows them. So hopefully that's going to be a point of pride now that things are kind of getting real with regards to my appeal with my job at the monastery. So now, driving while filming is not a very smart thing to do, but like I said on many times, like I used to drive a stick shift. Like, driving a stick shift is more complicated than driving a car while holding a phone. Flying an Apache helicopter is much more complicated than driving a car while holding a phone. Flying a fighter jet, driving a tank, all these things. They take skills, and you got to be able to pat your head and rub your tummy at the same time if you want to operate those types of machines. But yeah, I'm going to take the Lake Road, and then I'm going to park the car near the Field of Dreams. I'm going to talk about football. I'm going to talk about security. I'm going to talk about Nacho Libre. Well, maybe I won't talk about Nacho Libre today, but hey, this whole story involving the monastery is kind of an homage to the greatest story ever told, Nacho Libre. So, all right, let's not crash into an ambulance. Let's get to our destination in one piece, and then we'll talk about, man, I love football. Special teams, they're important. Everybody's always talking about offense and defense, but special teams had a chance and they messed it up. So the Packers just muffed a punt, and I believe the Texans recovered. I have to turn the radio off and talk about it because I don't want to get in trouble with the NFL, but costly turnovers, costly mistakes. Here's the point I wanted to make, though. There's Atlas, the statue. One of these days, I'm going to stop on the lake road and make a video standing on the sidewalk there, pointing the camera at Atlas. I don't think that's going to make anybody that owns that building upset, because that statue is just too cool. There are people in the world that have burdens. I think everybody has a burden of some kind, that's for sure. But some people have bigger burdens than others. Some people feel like, hey, they got the weight of the world on their shoulders. Mrgrrr sometimes feels like he is one of those people. I wonder if the Donald feels that way. This is going to be one interesting election, to be sure. There it is, the Field of Dreams. I was talking to my wife on my walk today with the dog about how one of my first awesome memories at this place involved this football field right here. Now, I didn't start my career out at the monastery as a PCT or RCT. I started off as a humble security captain. So the thing is, when I got promoted to captain, they gave me a new fancy badge, and they never asked for the old one back. So I kind of have this as a souvenir of those days from long time ago. But yeah, I was a security captain back when security was a outsourced luxury here at the monastery. Now it's a state job, so people that are doing security are state employees, and quite ironically, I'm planning to apply for that job soon to be added to my list of things to do with regards to getting my unemployment. But one of the most important duties that a security officer has here at the monastery is when the kids are playing ball and a ball goes over the fence, because we have the fenced-in courtyards and areas like that. Security's job is to go find those balls, pick them up, and chuck them back over the fence so the kids can keep playing. I remember specifically when I was the security captain at the monastery, kids would play football in this field all the time, and every once in a while a ball would get kicked over the fence or get thrown over the fence. And I would sit in my maroon minivan and watch the kids play, thinking, wow, that is just the most awesome job ever. Getting paid to throw the pigskin around with kids was just an amazing thing to do. So back in those days, my uniform was powder blue polyester. It fit absolutely terrible. It was the same color as Nacho Libre's pants. I mean, it was just the most ungodly, awful, uncomfortable polyester outfit that you could ever dream of. And the kids just made fun of the security guards mercilessly, because that's what kids and teenagers do. But I remember specifically, there was a time where the ball went over the fence and they asked me to throw it back. And back in those days, you know, I'm an old done man now, but back in those days, I had a cannon. Like Brett Favre and Tom Brady. And when I let that ball fly back over the fence to the guy that was really deep in the field, it was kind of like a, oh, whoa. So there's a lot of people that work in this world that don't get respect. People that work really hard trying to protect other people, like police officers, security guards, a lot of soldiers, and other people too. I'm not going to go into it any further than that, but I remember after I threw that ball, I felt good. It felt good. Now, giving a bunch of kids their football back, that's like a little thing that makes the world a better place. But I had no idea that my friend Greg, who had passed away, would get me that job being an RCT and then a PCT. I got to help kids so much more than just giving them a football back across the fence, because I got to share their struggle. Like everybody is going through a struggle. There is no doubt about that. Some people, they're going through a war, and I've witnessed quite a few people in my career at the monastery that have been going through those wars, and I've been there to help them. So a young lady that offered to help me carry stuff off the premises, I think she might be going through one of those spiritual wars right now. So I wonder who else. You never know. Like the gentleman that gave me a black t-shirt recently, a football coach, I think he might be going through a struggle that's a war. So you never know. You never know. Stuck waiting on the train. The guy in front of me is a delivery driver for Domino's Pizza. So he's like, maybe, man, what bad luck. I need to get this pizza delivered. But my guess is he's probably going back to base. If I had to bet my money on it. I don't know how many times people have been late because of this train here by the monastery. I know when I moved to Nina, I had the choice of, well, I can take the slow approach along the lake road, and have absolutely no danger of getting stuck by the train, or you can gamble, take the highway, which is faster, but then you roll the dice, and sometimes, that train will be there, and you'll be, waiting longer than you would have if you took the lake road. So my brother, who had a birthday yesterday, has a philosophy how stoplights and railroad crossings are the most powerful force in the world, and they kind of control our destiny. Well, I think that's why I like taking the lake road, because I like having my destiny in my own hands. Now, the question that I have now to think about as I wait for the gate to go up and get back home is, do I want to put this video on private or do I want to put this video on public? Because sitting in a parked car looking at an empty football field, well, people might say, Mrgrrr, you're obsessed. I'm like, no, I disagree with that, because I believe the word obsessed is just a word lazy people use to describe the dedicated. Like, my dedication to the monastery runs pretty deep, even though recent events would think like, hey, you would want nothing to do with that place. I believe no. I believe what's going on is because I'm really this close to making a change for the better at that place. There's a lot of people there that believe in me and believe in what I'm doing. I just need to convince everybody else the same. So, will that happen? It doesn't matter if it does or not. The thing is, I never give up. I wrote my letter today for the next stage of the appeal, and this is where things are going to start to get interesting, because now we're getting some people involved that might have a little bit more impartial view of the situation. I guess I really don't expect management to say, yeah, you know what, Mrgrrr, after thinking about it a while, we decided we kind of screwed up and made a mistake, and here's your job back. No one's going to do that, because who wants to admit making a mistake? That is like one of the problems with all government, not just the little itty-bitty microcosm of government that is the monastery. Is like, people do not own their crap these days. Like, when I make a mistake, I own it. Always have. Always will. Do I think filming a piece of toast in the break room with my friend Steven is a crime? Is it something that's worthy of being terminated? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think 99.6% of the people would say, hey, filming a piece of toast on your lunch break and talking about it with your friend, that's okay. Hopefully there's some people in the state of Wisconsin that feel the same. And the thing is, once this whole story plays out and all comes to light and all the details of everything that's been going on this past 14, 15 months comes to bear, I don't think I'm going to be the one that needs to be embarrassed. My goal is not to embarrass anybody. My goal is not to burn the bridges. Even though, the bridge is burning, I'm not going to burn it any. I'm trying to put it out so I can get back and do what I'm born to do. I don't think that Tom Brady should have been kicked out of the NFL for Deflategate, and I really, really don't feel that I should have had my career cut short helping those kids by Scootergate. It always feels good to give the gift of pie. I need to give a Perkins pie to somebody.